get Section 8. But
I
he
get
originally
that.
started in
But
D.C.,
brother,
right?
what you're
He
talking about,
started
brother?
selling jobs for
I
the
get
food
that. My
and
argument is, Auntie Jane, is y'all can't say all the black leaders went to jail, and at the same time, y'all voted all these black mayors in. What were they?
You guys, y'all are like the first generation to really go through this without experiencing that hate culture
But
and
John,
not
that's
kn- and not knowing what it really is. So you guys see it totally different than what we see it. And I don't think y'all young guys are taking it like why so many people in my Gen X generation think the way they think because they haven't come from under their parents' teaching yet.
but
Yeah.
John, that's the problem. Our generation's going through it alone. Average Gen X person they don't want to have no conversation for real, with anybody younger than them. They not
Facts.
dropping no knowledge for real. They just telling people what to do. Like y'all had the benefit of a generation of baby boomers and silent generation who really sat down and had real conversations in the households and in the communities. Y'all not coming to communities talking to people the way y'all generation did. Y'all not on the corners preaching the way other generations before you did. So pretty much
Yeah,
our generation on down, we on our own. If anything,
but
millennials are teaching the zennials.
and that's the thing about it. Okay, so it was, and I don't know how true what you just said is, but I'm not even gonna try to fight it because I think that's what you feel is what you feel, and I can't argue how you feel. Because I can tell you, it's like be careful when we say "all" or "y'all" because there are a lot of people in my generation who do try to teach. I think the problem is the message they're teaching is kind of what Sway is talking about, kind of what Cheeky talking about. It doesn't connect to them
Right.
because they haven't experienced what we experienced. And I'm not saying Cheeky and Sway are right. I'm just saying that I see where they're coming from because what we was taught is something they never experienced, and so we're trying to pass down what we was taught, and it doesn't apply to their culture anymore. Because let's be real, racism don't exist like it did 30 years ago when I
Swear,
was
do
a
you hear
kid.
this?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
Cheeky.
I'm finna chill.
No, Cheeky,
Did
go
I say,
ahead.
did,
You
did
articulate it
I
better
say
than me.
did I say something
No,
wrong?
no, John, you didn't say. John, you didn't say anything wrong. But me and Swear just seeing how this is going. Is the irony is amazing. But you continue, man. You killing it.
But I'm
You
just
didn't
telling you
say.
though, it's like
Yeah, you didn't
the
say nothing
message,
wrong.
the message, the message, the message is not so. That's why the message is being lost on this generation because our parents of the baby boomers, they were the last one to really experience the full blown racism. And so what we went through was leftover racism. And so we start talking about these. So we were the first baby boomers were the first one to start doing sexual what's the word I'm looking for? Sexual exploration or it's
Liberation.
crazy liberation. There you go. Sexual
Liberation.
liberation. The message began to change. The things that was happening began to change with the baby boomers. But they still kept teaching us this message. And so that's what's being lost in our generation X. We were the first generation to really not experience racism, but was raised by it. Was but we the first ones really not
Bro,
experiencing
you
but
in a
was raised by it.
matrix.
That's up on that one.
I thought it was me.
So what about the whole Rodney King police brutality and all that was going on in the 90s and 80s?
What about it? What are you saying?
Y'all didn't grow up in that?
Yeah, but I'm saying, like,
Yeah,
what's your question?
witnessed it.
He said y'all didn't grow up in racism.
It
No, no, no,
wasn't.
no. That's. It's not. I think you missed what he's saying.
Huh?
Racism in our generation was nothing compared to what it was in our parents' generation and in their parents' generation. Just like now, what y'all deal with, it's not on the level that we deal with or like you know, like I said, our parents and their parents. Like y'all okay with certain people saying nigga? You know what I'm saying? And it's like our generation, we like he said, we'll fight for that shit.
But who created the word nigga?
What difference does it make?
I don't know about that one,
Yeah.
Rojo, because I swear,
Cause
white boy,
hard
anybody say nigga
hard
around me, it's on site.
Nah, that's a question
and
I've been having for a while.
I'm
but
not talking
Granville,
about
Granville,
Nigga. Who made that?
nah, but fam, it doesn't matter hard ER or GA.
It's on
If you
site.
really exactly
GAR.
like that's the point. That's you're making my point in a sense. So you looking at it like, oh, who made it? Oh, well, we say it in music, and we say it, and so now they think it's okay to say it because they listen to our music and all that shit that everybody argue. That shit don't mean nothing to
It's
certain
not
generations.
Rojo, it's not that we don't have a problem with people of outside of black saying it. It's more so we're not gonna throw our lives away because they said it. Like y'all niggas ready to throw y'all lives away over a word. And niggas my age ain't about that no more. Unless you call
Right.
them ignorant
So
or degenerate.
what you're saying is the standard has changed. That's why they're a little more free saying the shit like they do, because the standard is not the same. They know that y'all ain't willing to throw y'all lives away for it.
Oh, y'all the same niggas put it in your music.
Bro, nigga, the word nigga was around before music, bro, or before hip hop. Like,
but if some little Johnny ass white boy in the suburbs is saying nigga at home with his homeboys because they singing rap lyrics and they think they dope and cool and they want to be hip and part of the culture, that ain't on me.
nobody's saying it's you in particular, bro. What I'm saying is your generation.
Then now I gotta go out here because I go to school with little Johnny ass nigga, and now he's singing nigga, and I gotta fight him and throw my life away because of y'all niggas put in your song.
No, but I'm not even talking about it from the perspective of song, because some niggas, and I'll blame my generation for this. Some niggas used to give people passes, like, oh no, he good, he could say it because he good, and I've never been to give a cat a pass on that type shit. But that's where for me, that's where it started to where Mexicans start saying it, and white folks that are urban start saying it, and all this shit. Like, I've never been okay with. I don't even like certain black people that aren't from certain parts of the hood or whatever the case may be. I don't even like the way they say it sometimes.
I can't say nigga.
Rojo, that's
Why
the
can't I say
problem,
nigga?
though.
They're trying to pass you all something that they don't have because they're figuring it out. Remember, we left them out there to figure it out. And so that's what you see occurring right here. And they figured it out.
Like I said
But
earlier, we had to learn to adjust to situations.
right.
The question that I have, because the phrase of study being thrown back and forth, fuck up. So what exactly are some of these fuck ups that y'all got in mind?
So, all right. If we take, can we agree that the Gen X timeline is 80s, 90s, late 80s, early 90s on up?
No, that's not. That's millennial, bro.
Millennium started.
Okay, so what would you consider Gen X's timeline?
Gen X is 43, Sway said, right? So you said 43?
Give me a second, I'll be able to tell you.
No, I think 43. Gen X started in like 60.
I can tell you the numbers if y'all shut up for a second, please. Damn. Gen X is 65 to 80. Millennials is from 81 to 96. Gen Z is 97 to 2012.
Okay.
I'm counting. But you do know they keep changing those numbers too, right?
I get it, but that's a rough estimate.
I'm just
wait. What I was referring to is, when did Gen X become adults? Because that's when accountability, in my opinion, starts.
So Gen X,
adults like early
the latest Gen X in the 80s, he would be an adult by 1998.
So that's what I was referring to when they became adults.
Okay, that's 43-year-olds.
So let's go during that era. I would argue gentrification beginning in the mid 90s, when y'all decided that instead of keeping the houses in those communities, you sold it off and you moved on to suburban communities
exactly what
out of the city that are now being gentrified, where you could have got more money if you would have stayed in said
Stay in
community.
your own
Well,
city. If we
That's
well,
what
tried
I'm
to
saying.
Laquan,
talk, we stayed.
Laquan, you're missing
Stay
on why they
leave.
moved out though. Why they moved out was because of the crime that the black community
And that
was portraying.
and that wasn't no Gen
Right.
X,
They
bro.
didn't want to
Boomers
give.
And
started moving before that.
oh my God, y'all got it all fucked up.
I keep saying
do
it's
y'all do
all it's
y'all even
all a ripple
realize?
effect, bro.
Do y'all even realize how a lot of that shit was affected? So y'all not
I
factoring
see
in
that. I see, bro.
drugs in the '80s and all
And
that shit.
Rojo,
I
if you really want to be honest about it, you saying Gen X, but if you take even back to the silent generation during the Great Migration, people that moved from the South they scattered everywhere.
No, I didn't
So
say Gen X. That was Quan. That wasn't Rojo.
I mean, yeah, Quan said it. So I'm just saying the shit goes back further than that. So that's what I'm saying. It's a ripple effect to each generation. So to put it all on one generation, that's kind of being disingenuous because again, it's like kicking the can down the road. The silent generation didn't give the game to the boomers. All the boomers
right.
did was try to
You like
pick up the can and take it further as far as they knew. The boomers tried to give what they knew based off of what was currently going on to the Gen X, and the shit it keeps continuing.
Wait a minute, Taurus. We didn't give what we knew. We kept it to ourselves. We may have told our children, but we didn't tell our children's friends and their friends' friends. We kept the information to ourselves. It wasn't like it is now. Each one teach one. It was a selfish thing because once again our voices were snatched from us. Children were seen and not heard. So you literally couldn't say anything back to an adult. You had to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am.
And let me
And
and let
you,
me, let me also say this too. So okay, if you go back to when Gen X was children, right? It's
yeah,
a proven fact that when y'all were children, the crime rates in y'all communities were way lower
yeah, they
than
were.
when millennials and the zennials are now living
That's
in
not
said
Wait,
completely
wait,
communities.
true.
wait, wait,
That's not
wait. Are you
completely
talking about
true
the
though.
'80s? You
That's
talking about
not
the
completely
'80s?
true, Quan.
I'm
Yeah,
talking about the early 80s. If you compare the early
That's
80s,
not true, fam.
That's not true, Quan.
you
That
can
was
look
like
at
the height. That was the height of the drug
no, the
eras,
height
bro.
was the early 90s in a lot of these communities.
no, no,
That's when
Oh
y'all
80,
my
became adults.
God, no, it was not, bro. What are you
no,
talking
it
about?
was
So
I
the
can
late
only speak.
70s and the early 80s didn't have communities that had professional men and women. They didn't have communities that had activists in those communities who talk to people. So y'all gonna sit here and tell me that didn't exist?
we did. We had
We're
all
not
Well,
saying
let
it
me
didn't exist,
exist.
Quan, but
Did it
you
exist for
you
millennials?
you might want to go back
Did
and
it
look at the
exist for
numbers.
the zennials?
it
Hey,
existed for us.
I can only speak for Chicago. Chicago had high numbers of homicide even in the 80s, bro.
But my thing is
The
this:
80s.
was there
Because of
professional black
It
the
Well, not
it
the
was
drug
high,
70s,
era.
not the
it was
that lived
70s.
in
higher
these
then than it
communities?
is now.
Were there professional black men and women that lived in these communities in the late 70s and early 80s?
Yes,
Yes or
very
no?
much so.
Yes.
Were
It was
there
two
Yes.
activists?
time home.
Were
It
there
was very
activists?
rare, though. No,
Were there
No, I
activists
saw it
that
all through
No.
my
lived in these
memory.
communities in the late 70s, early 80s? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, for me, yes. I saw it all through my community, mothers and fathers.
By the
um,
time
not in South Central
millennials
LA.
became adults,
Yo, TK, if you
wait,
give me a peace sign, you can
wait,
come up,
were there
bro.
any black
Let me see
professionals
you
that
real
lived
quick.
in your community to the extent that they had it?
No,
You said what was the question?
My question was the communities that Gen X grew up in were vastly different, and I would argue vastly better than the same communities that millennials and zennials now grow up in. There's been
very
divestment.
much.
Motherfucker, we ain't got no community. Them niggas left.
You understand?
Exactly. So why are
They
we even
do.
arguing against my point? Y'all grew up with way more resources than any other generation after you.
We did. We grew up with a lot of resources. However, we chose because of the time
Feminism.
we were in, we didn't necessarily share it. We didn't share the resources.
And that's what I'm saying. Y'all
The
default to the
resources. The
internet.
resources was for the women back then, bro.
Y'all
The
gotta
the resources
understand.
was for the women. And you know what they did for the men? They put drugs in the community for us to sell. And then you know what they did after that? They locked us up.
Y'all gotta understand. So you think it's a long timeline of stuff. Like Social Security really just didn't come into effect to what, the 60s?
Yep.
So
Right.
it hasn't been a long time since you talk about these resources, Quan, that you think that they had. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not
It
a
ain't
thing.
been that.
It's a
It
The
it,
fact.
it, it
resources
ain't been
Y'all
it
be
ain't been that
arguing in
long, bro.
facts. Were there
It ain't,
activists in our communities when y'all were children?
Necessarily, our generation
they
didn't
left
necessarily
the community.
need on
Like,
that.
it's not a lie, bro. Y'all had activism in y'all communities. Y'all had black professionals in y'all communities. That is
You
not a
I
had
lie.
can't.
you
That's a
had the
fact.
Muslims
I can't say
and
that
Black
because I
Panthers
don't
and
know.
stuff like that. But fam,
That
Do
was
we
you,
have that?
that
the
was
Panthers
that
was in
was
the '60s.
that was in,
That
I was
was
about to
a
say
lot more.
that was
Yeah.
before the 70s and 80s. So it's like
But y'all
that
grew
died
up
out.
with that.
That died out. I I
Y'all
But
I
grew,
didn't.
grew
but
up
you
with them in
all grew.
jail though.
The
We didn't
point
grow up
is,
with
Who
them
said
living.
that? Who said that in jail? Who
I
said they
did.
grew up in
I
jail?
did. They was in jail.
Thank you. Because we
Okay.
didn't have it no more in the
the
They
late
was.
point,
70s, early 80s.
the
I'm a
point
79
is,
baby. All right. And the people that you're talking about, they were there, but they were gone. They were locked up. Things happened. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't around because we lost all our resources. We used to have a lot of resources in my schools. Used to be able to learn mechanics. As soon as I got to high school, they took it out. Used to be able to learn a lot of things. They
but
took
the
all
Right.
point,
my
the
Yes,
stuff.
point
we
is,
I
y'all
even got there.
I
y'all grew
mean,
up with some of these things.
No, Quan, you
There,
got to
there are
understand.
those
No,
that
bro,
grew
Listen
up
to
with
what he's
nothing.
saying.
no,
Quan,
bro.
listen to what he's saying. Those leaders you talking about were in jail. While
Yeah,
they were in jail, guess what they did? They flooded the community with drugs, bro. Those leaders, had they not been in jail, would have been able to keep the drugs out of the community.
I would
right.
believe that, but y'all
okay.
also elected all the black mayors during y'all time.
Who
Every
do you
black
mean?
mayor
Oh,
got their start in the early 80s.
okay, but that was our
All the
parents.
black
That
mayors.
wasn't
So
us.
they're not
Bro,
black
it was
leaders.
too late by
They're
then.
not black leaders.
right,
You talking
right.
about when it was already too late.
Yeah, you can't.
But
Yes,
y'all
for them.
elected them though.
What about
Our
the baby?
parents elected them, not us.
What about the baby
We
mama
Our
elected
issue?
parents.
them. You
What
got
about
the
the
right
baby
to
mama
elect
issue?
them because they
So the
gave
baby
us
mama
So
issue
I
is
know.
ours.
our
I will say
Yeah.
that way. I will,
Yes.
because I have three, so I'm gonna be upfront. That was us a little bit though, Sway,
A lot of it.
because it happened. No, but listen, it happened before us as well. Because
Y'all
remember,
niggas have y'all
my mother was a single mother until she got married with her husband. So you know what I'm saying? It took a while, but a lot of women didn't. So a lot of my friends didn't have fathers in their household. So it actually started
for different
before us,
reasons.
but it
What
continued
year
real
you
strong.
For
born
different reasons.
79. I'm a 79 baby.
For different reasons.
79, okay.
Yeah, I'm 79.
Like you
So
So
said,
you probably
they
the
were, they
generation
were
that didn't tell the knowledge to, right? And you had to figure shit out for
we
yourself.
had to figure shit
That's
out
when they
literally
started.
Yeah,
on our own.
he on the
That's
tail
Yeah,
when
end
they
of that
started doing
generation.
the jail.
I'm
That's
just
yeah,
when
saying,
they
y'all
started
yeah. I had
really.
to learn
elected,
everything on
y'all
my own.
elected black
Nobody was able to
leadership,
teach me anything.
man. Y'all can't escape all the y'all elected black leadership. How y'all got no black leaders and y'all
Wait, what's his
elected
name?
these niggas?
What's his
y'all
name?
gave
We
us
had
no
to
Stoners?
stand
Hey,
strong.
Yeah.
We had to
Stoners, do me
great
a favor. Say that last part you just said
One
one more
great
time for me.
that ever lived. What are we talking about? Marion Barry started hate for DC, and it turned into a federal thing, and see how it blew up.
And
Now everybody can get Section 8, but
I
he
Yeah,
get
but,
originally
that.
started in
but brother,
DC, right?
what you're
He
talking about,
started
brother,
some jobs for
I
the
get
food.
that. My argument is, Auntie J, is y'all can't say all the black leaders went to jail, and at the same time, y'all voted all these black mayors in. What were they?
I didn't say